Hi, I'm Dr. Stephan Smith with Advantage Family Chiropractic and the Wellness Champions. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about diet, specifically eating a lower carbohydrate diet. Diet recommendations have seen, all kinds of changes over the years. I know that people are often confused about what constitutes a good diet. You've heard, don't eat so much protein, don't eat so much fat, and now lately it's, don't eat so many carbohydrates. And I'd have to say that the last one is the closest to being more ideal. We were, for generations and generations and generations, hunter-gatherers in our history. Our ancestors were hunter-gatherers. That means that they ate what they could catch, what they could gather, what they could dig up, which included animal protein, animal fat, vegetables, fruits, roots, berries, nuts, those kinds of things, okay? They did not eat grains, other than maybe a few wild grains that they found. 10,000 years ago, that's the way they ate. And then as things went along, we slowly learned to cultivate grains and then hybridize grains and make them bigger, make them starchier, make them more plentiful, make them produce more. Those grains, as they became more starchy, increased the amount of carbohydrate in our diets, and we really did not evolve to eat those carbohydrates. Our bodies really don't know how to handle that stuff, which is why now you see epidemic levels, basically, of type 2 diabetes and heart disease and stroke, all of the cardiovascular problems that are associated with a diet that is high in processed starches, processed carbohydrates, and sugars. We aren't meant to eat that stuff. We never developed to eat that stuff. For a long time, doctors and specifically cardiologists and things like that would say, "Oh, don't eat fat, it causes your arteries to clog." That's not true. If you look at areas of the world where they eat fat, for example, the Inuit, the Eskimo population in the northern parts of the world, their diet consists of large amounts of fat, and yet they have virtually no heart disease. Why is that? If they're eating fat, and fat's what causes heart disease, they should be dropping like crazy, right? They're not. That's because they don't eat all of the refined sugars and carbohydrates that we eat. There's a direct correlation between excess carbohydrate and sugar consumption and high triglyceride levels and high cholesterol levels, and that's what's killing us. There isn't really a direct correlation, if you were to make all things equal, between even cholesterol in your diet and fat in your diet and meat in your diet and heart disease. It doesn't exist. That's a misnomer. The same people that are eating lots of fat and having heart disease are also the ones that are eating way too much starch and carbohydrates. They're the ones that are hedging towards type 2 diabetes. It's a mistake to think that eating fat is what's going to cause you the problem. If you cut the carbohydrates out of your diet largely, and the processed sugars out of your diet, you're going to find that your health is going to start to rebound. You're not going to have the blood sugar problems that you currently have. Your cholesterol levels are going to go down to more normal levels, and we'll talk another time about cholesterol levels, because cholesterol is not your enemy. Your body needs cholesterol, and we'll talk about that another time. But your blood sugar levels will moderate, and your body will start to function on a more even keel. You won't get the ups and downs of the blood sugar spikes, which are what trigger insulin resistance and problems with type 2 diabetes. Kick the bread habit, kick the pasta habit, leave the sugars alone, try to eat as many raw fruits and vegetables as you can. There's carbohydrate in those fruits and vegetables, but it's natural, whole, complex carbohydrates that don't cause the glycemic spikes that sugars and processed grains do. Eat good, clean sources of meat, and it's okay if there's a little fat with it. We were meant to eat that stuff, I'm telling you. So don't worry about that stuff. Make sure that you get good fats too. Whole nuts, raw nuts, if you're not allergic to nuts. Berries are hugely important. Good, low sugar sources of fruits, and they're out there. You can make lower sugar choices in fruits. And like I said, the vegetables, those should be the primary things that you eat. Fruits, vegetables, meat, and yes, some fat. Those things are going to keep you healthy. That's closer to what we call a paleo diet. And you're going to flourish if you start to eat those things and leave the carbohydrates and sugars alone. What I'm saying is probably kind of controversial to some people. Check the literature. It's not controversial. I'm Dr. Stephan Smith, Advantage Family Chiropractic and the Wellness Champions, and I wish you good health.